Hi, this is Chris McDonald, and I'm coming to you from North Carolina, just a little bit short of Charlotte. The reason that I decided to go ahead and do these trainings is that I felt like there were probably a lot of business owners that felt like I did whenever I first started. I felt so overwhelmed by all the information that was out there pertaining to social media. So I decided that maybe this would be a good idea for something that I could do to help. So I started with an MLM about 2 years ago. I spent a year with that company, and then after that, I really didn't seem to have as much interest in doing that as I did in just social media. Social media was something that fueled my hunger because there's constantly new information and new learning to do. And to some, it may be a maze of information, which is the way that I first felt. But for me, it's something that I just love learning and being able to explain. So that's part of the reason why I decided to go ahead and do this. I'm a wife. I have been married with my husband for 37 years. I have 2 grown children and 4 beautiful grandchildren. So that's enough about me. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go through and get this started because I really don't want to keep you any longer than necessary. I know that all of you are extremely busy. So here is my screen. Okay, so today's training is on social media. What are the things that you're going to learn? You're going to learn why a fan page is so important. You're going to learn why you want to keep your personal profile separate from your fan page. You're also going to learn why you need to know your ideal customer. You're also going to learn the best way to brand yourself. One thing that I forgot to mention, at the bottom underneath where you're watching this, there's an area where you could put in any comments or questions. Now, I won't be able to check on this constantly, but I will go ahead and check and make sure that any questions that you have are answered. So please go ahead and do that. If you don't have a question, go ahead and log in and just tell us where you're from. In case you didn't know, Twitter has over 288 million users. Pinterest has over 70 million users. And get this, they have over 30 billion pins on their platform. LinkedIn, which is much more professional type platform, has 332 million users, and Google Plus has 343 million users. Now, YouTube has over 1 billion users with 4 billion views a day. I don't know if any of that has been affected by the changes that are going on with Facebook, but I'm sure that we'll start seeing more results on that soon. What do we know about Facebook? We know that Facebook keeps us up to date on what's happening with our friends. They also, on your personal fan page, there is a limit to how many of friends you can actually have. Right now, there are 1.19 billion users on Facebook, and the revenue for Facebook in its last quarter was $3.2 billion. So there's a lot of difference in the way that you're going to post things between a business page and a profile page. Your business page can be all about what's going on in your business, behind the scenes, tips, how to use your product. A profile page can have a link to that fan page, but you want to stick with things that are a little bit more personal. Now, if you're doing all of your work from home, yes, you can say that you're busy working on this new product or something like that, but you don't really want to be advertising on your personal profile page. Last April, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion in cash and stock. Now, Instagram is another platform that is growing by leaps and bounds. One of the major reasons that Facebook bought it was to get it before anybody else did, of course. And the other reason was that images are everything in social media. There's much more engagement. People stay longer and look at those images instead of just scrolling on by. So they wanted to get those big results. And lastly, it's much more popular with the younger generation. And more so like in the 20s, but my teenage granddaughters, they also love their Instagram accounts. So why do you want to use Facebook for your business? Well, basically, it's free. It has 1.2 billion users, 1.9 actually, billion users worldwide. It is the largest platform, and the growth isn't slowing down. It's part of the world that we live in today. It's easier for people to view the posts on your business page when they come in from the outside. If my mother, who doesn't even have a Facebook page, if she wanted to go ahead and look at my fan page, she can do so. But if she wanted to go ahead and get into a personal profile, she'd have to become friends. Now, my personal profile isn't set up like that, but a lot of people's are. So, someone that doesn't even have an account can go in and look at a Facebook business page, and they can see and learn about the business. So that's another reason why you don't want to use that personal profile. Search engines. Facebook is indexed by Google and the other platforms. So you want your Facebook page to have good keyword-rich words that are going to help with your indexing. Facebook offers us insights. That's something that you're not going to get on your personal profile. It also allows us to do targeted advertising. If you have a brick and mortar business, you can check into that brick and mortar business. You can go ahead and, where are you at, with friends at, and it'll go ahead and list that, which is advertisement for your business. You can use promoted posts and make it much more targeted. And if you haven't been doing that or haven't done that, we'll go over that later on. Not today. Newsfeed marketing. If you're putting things out into your newsfeed that's going to be promoting your product, you kind of want to try and keep it at like 80-20. You want to give 80%, which are information that are not promoting your products. Those tips, those tricks, maybe motivation. Can't be all just motivation and inspiration, but you want to go ahead and put out that what you're advertising, your product, only wants to be about 20% of the time. So you'll need to determine that based on how often you're posting. If you're commenting as your business page, it helps build your brand. You can go into other platforms, into other businesses or to other people and people's pages and comment as your business page. That helps build your brand. Your personal profile is all about you. Do you think that your friends really want to see all of your business information? They can actually see it as spam, and you certainly don't want to lose any of those friends. The business page is going to be all about your business. So why use a fan page on Facebook? Once more, this will allow you to keep your personal profile more private if you want. We want everything about our business to look and be professional. It can be warm, it can be authentic, but yet it still needs to look professional. So into a little bit more detail into the page versus profile. There is a terms of service that Facebook gives, kind of like the rules that Facebook has. They don't allow for us to be advertising on our personal profile. They do allow for us to have a presence with the business profile or our fan page. You have to have a personal profile to set up that fan page. Now, your personal profile page is only going to have a limit of 5,000 people, but there's no limit on how many people you can have on your business page or your fan page. If you're putting too much promotional stuff out on your personal profile, Facebook will shut you down. Some of the disadvantages of using Facebook for your business, well, beyond a shadow of a doubt, there is a definite learning curve. It's going to be different because of how we actually approach these people, and there's constant changes. Because of some inexperienced users, some people hesitate to even go to a fan page. And there are constant changes, like I said before, that are taking place. If you're not following those changes, you will be penalized. So this is something that you really want to be careful about, following and knowing that information. You want to brand yourself. If you have a company and there's a storefront, that company is yours. But let's say that you're an IBO or an independent business owner, you're working for an MLM. If you're doing something like that, you don't really want to be branding your company. So unless you're setting up your own you really want to go ahead and try to be branding yourself. The best thing that you can do is use your own name. Sometimes it doesn't work. For instance, there's actually an actor by the name of Chris McDonald. He's played a lawyer a bunch of times, but if I try and put him in, there's other people besides me that are named Chris McDonald. But if I try to Google myself, I'm going to see that actor, and he takes up that whole first page. So the best thing for me to do was to change it. You don't want to use numbers. What I chose to do is to just use the state NC behind my name. So that's just an idea for you to think about there. When you're setting up that fan page, if you don't have one, you want to make sure that you go ahead and get that. If you have a fan page for your MLM, you can only change that name once. And that's like, let's say that you have 200 likes and you want to change the name of your page because you've decided to leave that MLM. Well, you can go ahead and change it, but only one time. And that's why most people will encourage you to go ahead and use your first name. Now, whenever I first started, I did use the name of the company. I really didn't know what was going on, and I wasn't given enough information to do it the way that I needed to. Then on the other platforms, I decided that I didn't want to use the name of the company on everything. And my real mission was to help business owners. So I had used want to help you today. Well, the number 2 really isn't something that's going to be easy for people to remember, and that I used you instead of spelling it out. Sometimes things like that make it a lot harder for people to remember you. But if you use your actual new business page, it's going to have a long string of numbers and letters after it. So what you want to try and do is use your name and then get one that is going to be customized to suit your name, and find a way that's going to make it work. And then use that name on all of your different platforms. So is social media a way to get free advertising? I hear people ask this question all the time. It's a really good one. I say, no, it's not really free. You have to put in a lot of time. You have to have a lot of patience. You have to have the energy to do it. And there's times of frustration. The time is creating those posts, finding things that are going to work with your customers. The patience is with some of the comments that you're going to see coming in, and the amount of spam that you're going to see coming your way. Energy, there's just times, there's times I have a migraine and I just don't feel like doing it, but I want to be consistent, because consistency is a key. And frustration, you'll be frustrated sometimes. You'll feel like nobody's responding to your posts. You see that it's going out there and people still aren't engaging. So what is it that they do want to see? You have to take the time to get in, study those analytics, and learn what's going on with your particular customer. I talked about discouragement. Sometimes you can feel as if no one likes your hard work, especially when you see that you're not getting likes and shares. It can seem as if other people's pages are growing like crazy and yours is stagnant. You may even have other people unlike you, the worst of all. But you got to remember, we all start at the same place, which is the beginning. It takes time for those leads to come in, and you have to know your audience. You have to know what it is that they want. You have to know what it is that they're coming to see, what excites them, what makes them want to be with you and to come back to your page. So what does that mean to you? Everything that I've just said, what is most important is that you have to know your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you passionate about it? If you're passionate about it, that frustration and those feelings aren't going to be as strong. But if you're doing it as a job, then yes, it will be. If you're doing something that you absolutely love, you can wake up in the morning, open the computer or make those phone calls, and there's not any frustration or discouragement. There's not that, oh me, just another day. So in order to know these things about your target and who your audience is, all of these are things that will help prevent frustration. You can't be everything to everyone out there. There's how many users on Facebook? 1 billion. Well, you can't put out information that's going to please absolutely everyone. So the solution is going to be for you to be the best that you can be. If you've seen my pages, you see that I use that hashtag all the time, be the best you. That's what I want to see everyone do, is to be authentic, be real. If you make a mistake, own it. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So some of the advantages to your fan page: you can promote businesses and products. You can put your blog on your fan page. It'll show you who liked you and invite some friends. You have an administrative section that's going to give you important information, and it'll help you determine if you're reaching the people that you want to reach. It'll also tell you how many people are talking about your page. It'll show you what kind of posts bring in the most engagement. You'll be able to go in there and look at it, and you'll see what it is that people are really liking and looking at. So let's just go in. And let me give you an example. Okay, so if I go into my insights, I'm able to see how many likes I've had, how many new likes I've had, what my total reach is, whether it's gone up or down. And it looks like everything has gone down a little bit this week. Okay, you can go in and see what kind of reach that you've had on different dates and at different times. So you're able to see that information. And this is all organic. I haven't paid for any types of advertising yet. My husband's been unemployed since March. So we're doing this all on a shoestring basis. So you can see here that we had a nice spike and we're kind of going down. So we're going to have to work on that, obviously. You can see your posts. And it's going to show you what kind of reach you had, what kind of engagement you had. So these are all things that you want to look at. So we see here that my best engagement is on these Fan Page Fridays. So, that's something that you want to look at, you want to take advantage of. Am I going to be posting more of these? No, just on Fridays, even though I get great reach on it. So you want to make sure, like I said before, to customize that URL for your page so that people remember how to get back to it. If I didn't have Chris McDonald NC, it would have been an $= and numbers and who knows what else. So people aren't going to remember all of that. So you want to make it easy for them to remember you. Make it short, make it memorable, make it something that they're going to remember. So for homework, I'm giving you some things. Why do you want to use social media? Do you have time for social media? What's your main message that you want to give to your fans? And have you determined your ideal customer? Just in case you forgot, here's a look at those figures again. Now, I know that the first training is on Facebook, so the next one is going to be on Twitter, but take a look at those numbers. Is this something? Do you think that you want to go out and try and reach these people? I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say that we want to market in the year that we're in. The reason that he said that was because, if I am going someplace this weekend, we went to a vineyard. On the way, my husband was driving. What was I doing? I was on my phone. Did I see any of those billboards? Nope. Did I see any advertisements whenever we were in the city, the little city that we went through? No, I didn't see any of that. So those park seat benches or bus stop benches that had advertisements for real estate or whatever, I didn't see that. I didn't see anything. And that's what the majority of the people are doing today. They're on their phones skimming. And the driver might see some of them, but let's just hope that the driver's paying attention to where they're going so that you have the freedom to go ahead and scan that phone. So you want to know who your ideal customer is. I prepared a sheet for you that has questions to help you answer that and help you narrow down who that person is. I like to suggest that you make more than one ideal customer if you haven't already done this. If you have an ideal customer, try going after and determine a few different ones. That'll help you whenever you're coming and taking the time to go ahead and sit down and work. on making up that different contact. For example, one of the people that I had as an ideal customer, was a mom that wants the financial freedom to be able to stay home and do work from home and not have to put her children in daycare. Now, my woman was an abused woman and she's left her husband. So, what are my posts going to have? Information about freedom and being independent and things like that are going to appeal to that customer. So you see, as soon as you know who that customer is, then you know how to do it. Let's say that we switch it and we use makeup. I've seen a lot of pages that have Mary Kay or Avon. Okay, so that's the information that you're putting out there. You're giving makeup tips and so on. Well, now Avon came out with a new skin cream. It's not doing so well. You put those ads out there, it's not doing so well, but you notice that another company is doing really good. Now you've decided you want to just focus on skincare. You see, you've taken that subject of all makeup and you might narrow it down to something even smaller to hit that ideal customer. So that's going to be the key. I was said to give an example of weight loss. Weight loss products, we have shakes and all these different things to eat and fitness. And so you want to narrow that down. Is this women? Is it men? Women of a certain age group, it's harder whenever you reach a certain age. Are you targeting those older people? All of those are factors that you're going to want to take into account as you're doing it. So to get that sheet that's at the bottom of the page, you'll see it's going to be located, at the bottom of the page. It'll have all the information that you would want to be able to answer those questions and find out who that customer is. Go to the bottom, click for the worksheet. You'll be asked for your email. You'll confirm it. And when you confirm it, the URL to that worksheet will be in that thank you page. And that's another thing that I want to try and teach you. You know, it's been frustrating not having my husband working and having to do everything on a shoestring budget, if any budget. But I believe that, you know, the Lord takes us through things so that we can help others. Well, if my focus is on those small businesses, or just starting businesses, they themselves will have a shoestring budget. So how much better is it for me to learn how to build these websites and how to do social media or do advertising or even have an autoresponder that I can work out in a way where I'm able to use that for free. Now, MailChimp does let me do that for free, but the ones that go out automatically, those come with a cost, and there's a fee for that to use it monthly. Well, I couldn't afford that, so I found a way around it. And those are the kinds of things that I want to be able to share with you. Now, also at the bottom, you're going to see information about how to go ahead and have you'll be able to see information on how to go ahead and have get a free sample of my book from the Ideal Customer. Go ahead and take a look at that. Get that for yourself if that's something that you think that you're going to be interested in. And I'm going to try and check and see. I didn't leave that window open, and see if I can go ahead and see any questions that you might have. I am so sorry. Well, I guess this is one of the things about live and doing your first one. That was my big concern, that I was going to make a mistake. Well, it looks like I did. Okay. Well, it looks like I blew it on that too. I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can find another way in here. So this is something you want to make sure that you do. If you're going ahead and doing something, you want to make sure that you can go ahead and, wow, Twitter was shut down because of pressure from terrorists. Sad. Okay. There might be a little feedback when this first comes up. So just be patient with me. By the way, I'm able to do this through what is called 22 Social. It is an absolutely fantastic app and allows me to go ahead and do this directly through my Facebook, as well as to be able to go ahead. Here's what it's going to look like. You'll see the sample book, and then you'll see the ideal customer. In both cases, you'll click it, you'll see a URL that you go to, and then from there, you'll go ahead and get that information. Okay. So we have a nice comment from Laura and from Donna, and I appreciate that from them so much. And so since you don't seem to have any questions out there, once again, go ahead and take the time to look at that worksheet, what's at the bottom of the page, and the free sample book. The next class, we're going to talk about branding, why color choices are important, why fonts are important, is a logo important, mobilization optimization, plus a great tool. So we'll go ahead and go over all of those things next week. It'll be at the same time, same place. I'm looking forward to it, and I really want to thank all of you for being here today. Have a really blessed and productive week. Bye-bye.